Thank you very much. I'm very glad to have this opportunity to share what Georgia is about and what our priorities as a mission here are in Greece. I've been appointed as the ambassador of Georgia to the Hellenic Republic June of 2024. So this summer marked a year since I've been here. I think our main priority is the protection of the rights of our citizens and the promotion of their interests here. But of course, we pay a lot of attention, and some of our priorities are also expanding and further strengthening cooperation between the two countries, between Greece and Georgia. We have strong historic and long-lasting and long-standing historical cooperation historical connections between our countries. On the economic side, we also have a very good relationship and very good ties. And of course, when we come to religion, we are both Christian Orthodox countries, so there is a lot of connections that happen between our people in that sense. On the personal note, I can tell you that this year has been very interesting for me, settling in Greece. And I'll tell you that it hasn't been tough, let's say that, because there's so many similarities between our countries. Everywhere I have traveled, and mind that I haven't been everywhere yet. It's impossible to do everything in the first year, especially when you have to get acquainted and get to know the people that you're working with. So a lot of time is spent on the working environment of that. But of course, me and my family settling in here in Greece, we did get to travel a little bit. I visited some of the famous places like Nafplio, like Thessaloniki, of course, and some of the islands. And everywhere you go, you see so many similarities between the countries, especially the hospitality, I would say. Of course, we are big on wine as well. The wine culture exists in Greece and in Georgia as well. And I would say that hospitality is something that comes to mind when you talk about the connections and the similarities between our countries, because both of our people pride ourselves on hospitality, and everywhere I went, I was met with a lot of warmth from the communities. So I look forward to exploring it more and visiting wonderful places that Greece has to offer. Economic cooperation, I think, is one of the top priorities, not only in Greece, but to all of our missions around the world. We are working with all the relevant ministries here to expand trade between our countries. I would say last year it was close to 100 million, which I think is very low, considering all the ties that we have and all the similarities and all the connections that we have between our countries. I think that we can do much more, and there's a lot more opportunities that are available between us. Plus, Georgia is an associated member of the European Union, and part of the association agreement is the DCFTA, which is the Deep and Comprehensive Free Trade Area, which allows us to trade goods between European countries and Georgia tariff-free. That is a huge incentive for companies to, again, to develop more connections and more ties between the private sectors. We are, as an embassy, we do promote, of course, Georgian products and the opportunities available in Georgia. And of course, we work with the relevant agencies and ministries here to learn about the opportunities here. I think that there is a lot of room to diversify. And I think that one of the important things would be to look at what are the gaps in our markets and what are the gaps in the demands on our markets. We do work closely with the Chamber of Commerce here, with the Athens Chamber of Commerce. We are now in talks to do a trade missions or an informative sessions between our countries. Today, we're not only talking about trading of commodities and goods, but also the services. And Georgia has developed in the last I would say, a decade or so, very rapidly in the creation of the technology and innovation ecosystem, which has proved to be very strong and very vibrant, and encourages more and more, well, not only younger generations, but more and more people to venture into this world, which is, coming up with new startups, with new ideas, and developing those ideas into hopefully a world recognized brands. So I think that there is a lot of space in that sense, in that cooperation, where we can also bring Georgia and Greece together. I would say that tourism is one of the leading sectors, in generating revenue for the country. I think in the last 2 decades, Georgia is coming up and has become a tourist destination. And I will tell you that in 2019, before the pandemic, Georgia hosted 10 million visitors in a country with a population of 3.7 million, which speaks a lot. Whether you are a backpacker or whether you want luxury tourism, we have in Georgia, there is almost all international brands, and the hospitality sector has been booming, I would say. Georgia is doing a lot to invest into the tourism infrastructure in Georgia. Like I mentioned already, there's almost all kinds of, all different brands that are available in Georgia in the hotel industry. And of course, now when we were talking about increasing the inflow of tourists into Georgia, Georgia has direct flights with a lot of countries, especially in a lot of countries in Europe and in Asia. And I'm very glad to say that we have many, many flights between Greece and Georgia, and we have several airlines that are operating. One is the Aegean Airlines, and one is Sky Express, which just recently started flying to Georgia starting last year. I want to reiterate that the cultural ties go back not only centuries, but millennials. With the story of Jason and the Argonauts, Jason came to Georgia, to Colchis and Iberia, and Colchis and Iberia were the first 2 kingdoms, and that is the beginning and the creation of the statehood of our country almost 3,000 years ago. So if we go back from that time, having connections between Greece and Georgia, and they have continued to get stronger, to develop further. Of course, our faith plays a big part in that, and both of us being Christian Orthodox countries does certainly help in bringing our people together. On the cultural side, of course, I mentioned that we have a huge diaspora here, and we work very closely with the organizations that are based here, not only in Athens, but all over Greece. And we work with them to promote Georgia's culture, but not only promote the Georgian culture, but find the connections and bring those connections together. In Heraklion, with the mayor of Heraklion and the municipality, there was a festival where the Georgian folk singing and dancing took part, where again, we see this merging of cultures come together and show what we have to bring to this collaboration, of course. Events and projects like this, I think, further strengthen these cultural ties that we have. In October, in the Maria Callas Theater, the Olympia Theater here in Athens, we will be hosting a concert, which will be by the Batumi Symphonic Orchestra. We have several projects planned by the end of this year, which will be bringing Georgian artists that are based here, young Georgian artists, to promote the connections again between Georgian artists that are living here. So we're thinking of putting a name of a Georgian art in Greece. Of course, we are planning to. One of our plans is to connect cities to Georgia. We do already have several sister city connections, but that have happened a long time ago. Now we want to kind of bring it back and renew those connections between some of the cities. I am hoping that during my tenure here, I will have the opportunity to kind of welcome the signing of the partnership between Athens and Tbilisi, both capitals. I had the opportunity to participate in a discussion here in Athens organized by the Balkans and the Black Sea Forum, and we had the opportunity to talk about the connectivity overall. The connectivity, which is a very important subject today, transportation routes between East and West. I emphasized the importance of the middle corridor, and Georgia being on the crossroads between Asia and Europe plays a significant role in strengthening that corridor, in the whether it comes from all the way from China, the trade routes that come through Central Asia, through the Caspian, through the Caucasus, and through us, of course, continuing to Europe. And I think that there's a lot of benefits of strengthening the middle corridor. All these routes do not have to be competitors. They should be complementing each other, because there is time-sensitive goods that would be more interesting for the middle corridor, because we have a railway connection all the way from China to Europe, which significantly lowers the time of the transportation. Now there's a north to south routes and so on, which also pass through Georgia. We work with all of our partners. We also continue to work on the trade side with Russia as well. But we are very cautious, of course, because our history, our recent history with Russia. We are focusing on expanding and investing more into creating the transportation, or updating and building and developing the transport and transit infrastructure and logistics infrastructure in Georgia, because we want Georgia to become a logistics hub. Again, on the transportation side, we work with countries, with all Central Asian countries. These are 8 landlocked countries. So we work very closely with them to have that access to the Black Sea, Mediterranean, and then further out. In the recent year, I would say, or maybe over a year, Georgian government has taken some steps and brought in some reforms to strengthen the sovereignty of the country and to limit the influence of foreign forces. Some of these steps have become controversial, but I think that in no way any of those reforms are weakening our path towards strengthening the democracy. I, as an ambassador of my country, will assure you that Georgia and the Georgian people, their top priority is Euro integration in the European Union. We have done and continue to do everything to approximate standards with the European Union, to work on all of the requirements that there are. Georgia is, and as a member of the European Union, could be a strong partner and will bring more benefits to the Union. Again, to say that not only have we been close to Europe by values, not only have we been close to the Western values in the recent history, but again, for centuries and millennials, Georgia has always had very close ties with Europe overall and the West. We have to mention the war that has been going on, and Georgia, having had gone through this in the last 3 decades, we of course stand with Ukraine. We stand in support, in solidarity to the Ukrainian people, and in support of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Georgia continues to support that on all international platforms through several resolutions, UN resolutions, and on all basically platforms that there are, and we will continue to do so. I think, and of course, we hope for the peaceful resolution of this war, this conflict, and like everybody else, we're looking looking at our international partners that are involved directly into hopefully bringing peace to Ukraine.